What's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my TCG legal version of Cyber Dragon OTK. So this is pretty insane. More than one Cyber Dragon and actual machine dupe for once. This is crazy, man. I hope you guys are satisfied with this. But of course, I will be uploading a Master Duel version of this deck and also the Cyber Dragon Trap TCG legal version very soon. So before this video starts, make sure you like and subscribe and also check me out on Twitch and Instagram. And with that being said, let's jump right into it. So of course, I'm playing one Jizukiru. You can search this with Repair Plant and Contact Fuse into Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon using this and pretty much any Cyber Dragon. So very easy. And then one Chaos Dragon Levinier. It's a one-of that you can actually search, but only in main phase 2 or in main phase 1 if your opponent is like really stupid. So you actually get to crash the Dark and then search a Dark monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. And Levinier just happens to have 0 defense. So just like that, you can search it. One Dasher, your favorite card in the deck, and of course the Celestial. Fun fact, both of these cards can be searched with Dark, but that's never gonna happen because they suck. Holy shit, that rhymed. I'm so freaking sick. Alright, 2 Cyber Dragon. This is the bare minimum for machine dupe, but also the best in order to not break like crazy, because if you play 3, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna draw 2 copies super often, and you're just gonna be really upset. Whereas if you draw, like, if you only play 2, the worst case scenario is that you draw 1 with a machine dupe and a target, so then you only get to summon 1 Cyber Dragon from your deck, but that's all you really need. Like, getting 3 Cyber Dragons on your field doesn't really accomplish that much more than getting 2 Cyber Dragons on the field. So 2 is really all you need, and we really are trying to minimize the bricks as much as possible. 2 Galaxy Soldier, of course, this is also the bare minimum in order to be able to achieve the combo and not brick like crazy. Triple Core, this card is overpowered, you want to see this. Triple Hurts, now this card is usually not the best, but when you're playing Galaxy Soldier and cards like Forbidden Droplet, which are discard outlets, Cyber Dragon Hurts becomes infinitely better, so this is the reason why it's a 3 in this particular build. And Nextra is not a card that you're trying to draw whatsoever. This card is a brick, it's not a good card, but it is, well, I mean, it's a very good card, but it's not a card that you want to see in your hand. It's a card that you want to have access to at any point during the game when you're already stabilizing. I'm not a big fan of hand traps. I think they are very ineffective against a lot of decks, so instead I have adopted the board breaking approach instead. So I'm playing a lot of going second cards, but of course I'm going to go through the Cyber Dragon cards first. So 1 Overload Fusion with 1 Cyberload Fusion, Triple Emergency, and the Repair Plant. And then I'm also playing 2 copies of Fusion Destiny, of course, with the 2 Destiny Row monsters. You can get this card, get access to this card with the Verte Anaconda. And then the Call by the Grave. This card is very good even against Phantom Knight when you're going second. Against 0 hand traps, you can banish Artifact Scythe. So this card allows you to play, and of course against hand trap, this card is really good. And you're not playing hand traps yourself, so when you're called by the graving your opponent, you don't really have to suffer the drawbacks. Now, Cosmic Cyclone, again, huge against Phantom Knight. It's absolutely fantastic. It hits the Fog Blade and the Artifact Scythe, and against so many other decks like Eldritch, gets rid of Skill Drain, which is very freaking annoying. Duster also gets rid of that, but Duster against Phantom Knight, not the best. Even though it's not always the worst because you can get rid of Fog Blade, so at least against, you know, that kind of situation, it is something. And yeah, I mean, Triple Forbidden Drop, also very good against most decks in general, just not really against like Eldritch, for example. Same thing with Forbidden Chalice. But yeah, very good. You can also play Imperm if you really want to. There is not a massive difference between playing Imperm and Chalice at this point. And Triple Evenly, this could be the Imperm if you really want to, because the issue with Evenly is that if your only play is OTKing, you're not really going to be achieving that much, since you gotta play in main phase 2 and make negates, so you're under a lot of pressure. The pressure of being able to stop your opponent next turn. So yeah, if you feel like Evenly is not the best, then go for it and change with something else. But I actually like the combo of Forbidden Dropless Evenly. Basically, your opponent can have like 10 negates, and it's still not enough. You go Evenly end of battle phase, and then your opponent goes negate, chain Forbidden Drop, send the Evenly and a monster. Your opponent cannot respond with any of the other cards, regardless of the amount of negates that he has. There is nothing your opponent can do. Your opponent can have Solemn Judgment, and it does nothing because you send a trap card as well, and your opponent has to banish all the way until he has only 1 card, and then with 4 cards in hand, you're probably going to have a chance. And yeah, only 1 Cybernetic Overflow. This card is just not a brick. You can draw it and destroy it with either Phoenix Enforcer or Levinier and then get your Emergency or Cyberload Fusion, whatever, but this card is always really fantastic. In the trap build, you are lucky enough to be able to play multiple copies of this card, so that's a little better, but whatever. I mean, the OTK build is cool for fun and casual players, but if you're trying to go really far in Yu-Gi-Oh! With Cyber Dragons, I obviously do recommend the trap build. But that's pretty much it for the main deck. Now let's jump into the extra deck. So I'm playing only 2 Chimera Tech monsters, well, Chimera Tech Contact Fuse monsters, because I'm also playing 2 Rampage. So 1 Mega Fleet, 1 Fortress. Mega Fleet is actually getting worse and worse and worse and worse because of Master Rule 5. So if people want to summon their Synchro, Xyz, etc., it's always in the main monster zone. So this card doesn't really come up like 3 times per game as it used to, but it's still relatively good. Like, you obviously don't want to cut this completely. Chimera Tech Fortress still has its utility. Sometimes you randomly play against like Earth Machine or some other stuff. So yeah, you can cheese some cute decks with Chimera Tech Fortress, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the 1 Phoenix Enforcer, double Rampage, you can summon this card using 3 ways. So Overload, Cyberload, and the Graveyard effect of Cyber Dragon Nova when it is destroyed in your possession by your opponent's card effect. Very specifically card effect and by your opponent. So yeah, do keep that in mind. And then Zeus, you can summon that either on top of Dean Girsu, Infinity, or Nova. And speaking of the Devil, I'm playing all 3 of them. So Dean Girsu, you can revive this back with Nexture because it revives back basically any machine that has either 2100 attack or defense from your grave. It really doesn't have to be a Cyber Dragon monster. And Zeus is obviously a machine monster, so even under the Nexture lock, you can still summon the Zeus, which is very cool. And then yeah, Infinity Nova, you can usually summon these with Galaxy Soldier or Machine Dupe. And then for the Link monster, Seeger, very good of course with the OTK with Cyberload and Overload. Dark, Lina, Anaconda, El Mirage, and Relinquished Enigma. Link Rebo is also a good option, you can play that instead. But the Salamangreat El Mirage has to be played because if you draw something like, I don't know, Cyber Dragon Core and Emergency, you would have to get the core in the graveyard if you want to be able to use the Repair Plant in order to search the Galaxy Soldier. The Verte obviously is an OTK facilitator, but even if the card gets banned, the Cyber Dragon deck would still be playable, so it really wouldn't be the end of the world. Lina is probably better than Dark because you can search the Cyber Dragon core when it dies, and reviving back light attributes is pretty insane. But Dark is definitely not to be underestimated because you can revive back your opponent's Destiny or destroy Phoenix Enforcer after you Kaiju it, for example. And then it won't even get back, you know, the revival back, which is really, really cool. So you get an interruption and your opponent has to summon something shitty like Dasher next turn, which makes it so he's like one step, you know, backwards from being able to use the graveyard effect of Celestial. Now for the idea section, I have a few ideas. So Nibiru, of course, against combo decks. Ethereon's King Regulus when it's going to come out. The build is going to be completely different. And then if you're really trying to play bricks in order to kill your opponent, which I don't recommend, Cyberdark Chimera with the Cyberdark Realm and Power Bond. But again, it's 3 additional bricks and it makes your going second way worse. You start losing to way more hand traps, so I really don't recommend that at all. I guess hand traps like Ash, Ogre, Veiler, but I like board breaking cards more, to be honest, but that's just me. I guess there are some good arguments to play Ash because it's just very generic. Ogre is not the best right now. I mean, it's seen some decent formats, but overall, again, you might as well just play back row removal. I'd rather, again, board breaking cards, so not the best. And Veiler is worse than Imperm, so play Imperm before you play your first copy of Veiler. Now, Cyber ABC is a completely different build, so I'm going to make another video on that. Lightning Storm is a good board-breaking card as well, either for combo decks or back row decks. Sometimes people are careless and they summon monsters in attack position. Heat Wave if you're forced to go first, so you use this, your opponent can't do jack shit, and then next turn you just kill. Dark Ruler is not great because if you can't deal damage, you can't kill your opponent. So again, it's like the same issue with Evenly. You have to make negates, and the deck doesn't make that many negates. It's really good at killing, but not really making negates, so that's not ideal. And Pot of Prosperity, again, same issue. It houses the damage, so you can't really kill under Pot of Prosperity. And this is the reason why they are in the idea section and not in the main deck. And Unending Nightmare is for the Cyber Dragon Trap deck, which is completely different. Pretty much it for the Cyber Dragon OTK deck profile. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.